Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the You Got the Ron Dude podcast. I'm your host, Ron Jammin. Thank you very much for tuning in. This episode, going to be reviewing the first season of Sweetpea. It does contain spoilers throughout, so you have been warned. When I first saw the title, I thought, and I saw Ella Purnell on the poster, I thought, oh, a follow-up to Sweet Bitter. Maybe a spin-off series or something. Because Sweet Bitter, Sweet Pea. Then you see the blood on her shirt, and I'm like, maybe they're going in a different direction. I still have to watch the 2 seasons of Sweet Bitter. I've watched the first 2 episodes, I believe, and I liked it a lot. I think my subscription to Starz ran out, and this was a few years back, and I just forgot about it. It's still on my playlist, though, but I'll get around to watching that and do a review on those 2 seasons. But Sweetpea is listed as a dark comedy drama. Definitely dark, definitely a drama. Not funny at all. That wouldn't be very fitting for this, I don't think. I think it's perfect as is. Dark comedy, I don't know if Rihanna, I want to say Rihanna, but Rhiannon, I'm just going to call her Ree throughout the episode because some of the names, like I know who the characters are, but just pronouncing them sometimes I can be off in that. But with Ree, if she did like stand-up or something, if that was her main gig, kind of did like a William Montgomery kind of thing. I've been going around killing people and people are laughing in the crowd and you're like, oh, they think I'm joking. But in this series, I wouldn't list it as dark comedy. Thriller, edge of your seat, dark, tragic, heartbreaking. And I love that at the end, it's so unsettling what happens with AJ, which we'll get to, and everything with Julia. Because at first, when I started watching this, I'm like, oh my gosh, because I can relate to a lot, except for when Ella, or her character Ree, starts killing in that. Because when you feel like nobody sees you sometimes, and, the victim mentality, and like, you blame everybody else for everything, and it's like, what I like about this is, it's not in your face, like, don't bully. It's more like, when you bully, this is what can happen. And pulling hair out, and just feeling stuck, and it's so sad, but to take the route of taking lives, it's just like, one's not gonna be enough. And look what happened to AJ, which again we'll get to. But I'm glad it's been renewed for a second season as of December of last year, 2024, because I definitely want to see what happens with all these characters. Every episode was directed by Ella Jones, and I like that because when you bring on different directors, sometimes they have a different vision. Just like with movie trilogies, I would argue, like JJ should have had his own Star Wars and then Rian Johnson have his own. Because then like the pieces don't really fit together and stuff. So with this, I like that it's linear. It's easier, to follow than something like that. But great direction. I love the shots. I love the tone of everything. And my notes are very random. Let's see, one night I watched 4 episodes and then I was tired. But believe me, this series will keep you awake. And then the next day I watched the last 2. And it's funny because sometimes I argue that, these days we'll get like 6, 8 episodes. And it's like, well, in the old days, when you're a TV show, you get an episode order for like 20 plus. You're shooting on film, which was expensive, and now we have digital, and it takes up memory in that, but still not as expensive, yet we're having seasons of, less than 10 episodes. But for something like this, it's very fitting, because this show gets a lot done in 6 episodes. And every one of them, I was gasping, edge of my seat, and, oh no, is she going to kill? Oh no, she killed this person. What happened to so-and-so? Oh, someone's going to walk in that garage and see. And I never really got into the crime shows. I think because, one episode you deal with something and that's it for those characters. Your main characters are mainly the detectives and cops and the case and that. But with this, you're following this character, the main character, Ree. And it's not like she only gets one episode. The nice thing is, instead of this just being a movie, like 2 hours, try and fit in, the whole series is probably 5-6 hours of content. So imagine having to cut out most of that and be like, we need this in 2 hours. Whereas with a series, you can explore, let moments breathe, and it's just very well done. So like I said, my notes are all over the place. They're not in any order. Let's see, Season 2, where did Julia go? Do you think she sold her house or just abandoned it? I mean, she was in real estate, so I'm sure she could list it, maybe have one of her associates take care of it. But with the, apartment or townhouse, whatever that was that her and Marcus had, what's going to happen with that? And let's see, Ree, she can cancel the card, because remember in the end, I had a feeling when Julia asked for her credit card, because she said all of her stuff was in Marcus's name, they probably confiscated that for evidence and that. Ree can cancel her card, get a refund, or just get a new card issued. That's just something I thought of. It doesn't really affect the story too much. But obviously, Julia used her card and then got on the flight to wherever. So a refund, it's we have to make a case out of this. And when they were on that rooftop, with Craig, and they were talking, you could tell Julia was like, what am I doing? One thing I never saw coming is her and Julia making out, because I didn't realize I had to read up on it. Because I was like, were they drunk or high? Because that was oh wow, that was a twist I didn't see coming. And with me, something like this, when there's all that build up, Julia is dead, for sure. And then sometimes it's they could end up teaming up, which they did. I'd considered that. Or Julia would break down and we realize she's a victim, but she just dealt with it differently than Ree. She didn't make herself look like a victim. It was just more my life is shite and it's all an act. And which is still heartbreaking, but at the same time I thought she's for sure going to kill her. Even accidentally. Maybe they patch things up or have an understanding and then, something happens and something like that, a gun goes off or whatever. Ree's sister, Serene, showing up at the end. That is such a good cliffhanger. I thought she was going to see her in the kitchen holding AJ from the front door. And considering where the stab wounds are, because there's that one in his side, but the one in the back, it's well, how would he do that? I guess he could, because it was, just below the neck? But I imagine Ree is well, this is another dead body, I'm holding him. And that, is it Marina, the detective? Another great character. The one that just loses it at the end. Because her, just like Ree, seeing those photos of Julia, when she's walking across that bridge and that, and just I know that Ree did it. I'm positive. And there's Julia again, and it's just they both are just kind of obsessed with, getting this over with and solving the crime in that, as far as Marina. But I can't wait to see what happens. Because Ree, it's will she kill her sister? I mean, they weren't very fond of each other, and there's a witness, and like I think we all knew that when Ree told Julia, I'm done killing, that was it. We're on good terms now, and that's just not. It's possible, but it's not likely, especially in season 2. So I think she'll either have to kill Serene. Maybe she'll say, hey, can you help me? This guy came over and he ended up killing himself. And then while Serene is helping her, again with the names, I'm pretty sure it was Serene. Serene comes over, tries to help her, and then she stabs her and kills her as well. And would basically, I figure she'll use the freezer because we know that Marina already checked in there. And if she's still, with the detectives in that unit, she'll say, oh, I already checked there. And I imagine she would put AJ's body in there. How would she get it over? I'm not sure, because he's a tall guy, probably weighs twice her size. So maybe, I don't think she could talk Serena into like, oh, can you help me put this body in a freezer? Or just drag him outside and bury him or something. But it'll be very interesting. I have a feeling the season 2 isn't going to start off like directly after that. When Serene walks in. Because I could see us guessing throughout the episode. Like we follow Ree back to work at the Gazette, the newspaper place. And she looks unsettled and nervous in that. And it's like AJ's dead. And then we're left to guess what happened to Serene. Maybe it's not revealed until the end of that episode. The next one, maybe at the very end. Because now you're going to have more missing people. And both are, close to Ree. I think Serene, we don't know much about her, who she's in contact with, who she told she's coming over. Because we have the text to Ree about, I'll take care of it myself, I'm coming over. Why'd you tell that one guy, I think he was there to inspect the place or something? Like, why'd you tell him to F off, or you didn't let him in? And it's so interesting. I love this because, like, when's it going to stop? Like, Reed's going to have to kill everybody she knows, But then people go missing, people get reported, and the whole Robin Hood thing we'll get to. But let's see. At the end, when Julia went AWOL, I believe they call it, when she went AWOL again, I thought she had killed herself. Because again, that scene on the rooftop, she seemed like, oh, I'm out of it, I'm not drunk or high anymore. But it's like, no way I'm moving in with Ree after that. Because they're always going to have that connection. And they both, got out of a bad situation, but they're still kind of in one. And so I was wondering where that was going to go. We'll see what happens also season 2, the fate of Craig, after Ree signed the papers and that. I thought she was going to kill him in there. I thought that's why she looked back, I think, towards the entrance. With him, at first I thought at the funeral, I thought they were related. I thought they were cousins. So I was like, why are they hooking up? But I must have missed something. But for him to get away with that, I mean, because, obviously she didn't have her knife. Because after what happened with Marcus, they confiscated that. So at the shop, I figure if there was something around, just like when she killed AJ, like if there was a knife, a blade, something around, one of those tables, she probably would have been like, oh, okay, I'm going to go use the restroom, I'll be right back, look for a weapon or something. I don't see him living through season 2. And At first, he seemed like a decent guy in that, and they hooked up and had fun. So with him, I'm not too sure how I feel about his character. You're not rooting for him. That episode where, I think it was episode 2, where Ree thought his text meant something else. So working late to, impress the boss or whatever, but really he was meeting up with Julia. I thought they were going to be hooking up there. But they didn't. They were just there to discuss, the plans for Ree's house. Let's see. We already talked about Sweet Bitter. Marina with the CCTV footage. I like how dedicated and passionate Marina is about everything. It's like, I know that she did it. I know it. I just need proof. And with the video footage, what can you do with that? I mean, if it showed her slashing, someone's throat, that's one thing. Tires. But then, even when you zoom in, like we know it was Ree who slashed her tire. Because we saw her do it, like in real time on the show. But otherwise, she could deny it. And I also wonder, because, being a detective in that, and you're sure somebody did it, did Marina set up any cameras in Ree's house while she was there? Was she wearing a wire? Maybe that's why Ree didn't admit to anything, because it's like, what's the problem? And, well, if you show them this, it's like, but you stole it from me, breaking and entering. So just like with Julia, it's like, I have this on you. And if, Marina did set up cameras, well, obviously what happened with AJ would be documented if they were in every room, let's say. But even in the end, you could hear, their back and forth. You could hear Ree confessing when she tells AJ about the murders and that. It was me. They weren't good people. So we'll see where that goes. But again, it's breaking and entering. But at the same time, it's like, well, we had to catch this person. I had to know. I wonder in season 2, because they didn't have a good back and forth, do you think Ree will look into Jeff's life? Because we don't really know how long they knew each other. Were there any cameras on them, their last altercation? Because I thought she was going to make something up, like pretending to hold her phone, which was, the knife. And that was another really good twist in that. Because she looks over and there's Jeff. He's like, were you going to... It was you. And Jeff is one of those like typical kind of slimeball characters. Not really a bad person, but just one of those kind of free-for-all. Seems to not really care. And it's like, well, I'm going to work my way up. And not really a bad person or anything. Well, again, we don't know much about him. So I'm curious if they're going to explore that in season 2. Because at the end of season 1, it's like he gets hit by the bus, splattered. They have that photo of him at the office, but there's no real look into who he was. But we'll see. Because again, that was more of a side character, but yeah, that was, like I said, another great twist in that. Because him getting hit by the bus, I was like, normally I would see that coming. Something like that, and it's just like, oh, she's going to make something up in that moment and be like, oh no, I was just recreating a moment for a video. Jeff, how are you? How's your bike? Another great twist, because again, usually I can see these things coming. Because with AJ, it's that, that, I call it the Jimmy effect. I wrote that down. I think I just made it up. But, the good old boy with the heart of gold. Hey, everybody, meet Jimmy, Billy. They always get killed off in movies and that. And with this one, I didn't see that happening. Somehow I missed it. So they did a very good job with the placement of characters. And, well, let's talk about the Robin Hood thing, because, stealing from the rich, giving to the poor. In this case, with Ree, she tries to think of it like, well, these, people I killed, they were bad people. And it's like, well, that doesn't mean they deserve to die. But imagine if you're in that situation, you just killed someone because you're pissed off at the world. And it's like, so what, everybody has to suffer for what you've been through? And it's like, yeah, but they weren't good people. And it's like, well, okay, but they were part of a society. And it's very, very interesting because I still, you feel bad for what Ree's been through. But at the same time, it's kind of like, no, but just don't kill people. Because still, the pulling out the hair, being embarrassed, and being bullied, and that it breaks your heart. But again, I like that this show doesn't push, not that I'm for it, but don't bully people. It's more like some people don't realize when you pick on people how much of an effect you can have on them, especially being so young. And then you feel stuck and you don't move on or you don't do what you want to do in that. And it's very heartbreaking. Because when you feel like a loser, it's hard not to play the victim. But people like this, if Ree ends up having a kid with someone, I'd be surprised. Because it's well, you wouldn't want that kid to go through what you went through. And her killing people, it's but anyways, I hope there are, second season, we'll see what happens. And, if there's really more, if there's room for a third season, really, depending how, because I'd like to see, these characters again, but, you're curious about how it's going to end if it does, and what will it take. Because maybe she admits to everything at the end of season 2. And there we are with Marina, because she's like, I can't sleep, I can't eat, I did it all. And then maybe the detective there it is, sorry. Detective Inspector Diana St. John, which I have a theory about. Maybe she'll say to Ree, no, we want you to keep doing this. They're like, there's some people that just aren't good for our society, and, the people that you killed, no one's missing them, really. Just something like that. And she's like, no, I can't sleep, I can't eat, I confess I did it. I feel terrible, I can't fix it, I can't turn it around. And they're just like, no. But, let's see here. Not really a plot hole. Continuity, I'm not too sure, but after Ree first kidnapped Julia, when she said she's going to take her home, Julia's phone, because at first I thought, oh, well, the police will track it, even though we learned that Marcus didn't report her missing. And even towards the end, I was like, oh, it makes sense, but when they see that her phone was at Ree's house, or at least in that work truck for however long. So they question her about that. Because we know at the end when her and Julia decide to set up Marcus, they meet at that townhouse apartment, whatever it is. And she says they'll call 911, from your phone. But throughout I was just curious, where is her phone? Because I don't think Ree, obviously none of this was really planned ahead, but you just figured they could track her phone, where it was at all times, and that. Something I think Marina could do in season 2. Because I'm not sure how that works. You could track where it is right now, but in the past, if it was sitting there for however long Julia was at Ree's house. So, I'm curious about that. Julia's friends, is Ree just going to get closer with them? They're probably baffled. Did Julia tell them, hey, I'm going to be leaving the country for a while, I need to get away. AJ, another character we don't know too much about, when he showed up at Ree's house, he didn't call or anything, so there's no record of that, when he gets axed at the end. family, friends, etc. Like who would first report him missing, if anybody? Because when he first started working at the Gazette, the boss, I think, had mentioned, like, how's your mom or something. And, but we don't know too much about him. So how long could he go missing for? Because like I said, I think she's going to put him... I don't know if she could tilt the freezer down, like drag him into the garage. No, I've never done this. I'm just thinking out loud. Because again, I mean, he's twice her size than that. But she drags his body into the garage, tilts the freezer over, because that wouldn't really leak, and then put the body in there and then tip it back up. But that'd be even more heavy, I think. I don't know. Or just bury him, in the backyard or something. But geez, another thing I didn't really touch on. We'll get back to this and that, but with her dad dying and then her dog, and Julia's just everywhere in her world and gonna buy the house, make an offer, and then flip it. And again, like, that stuff's really emotional, but it's just that dark turn the character takes, because it's like killing just isn't gonna solve anything. And I'm reminded of Batman Forever, and Robin, when he tells Bruce, I'm going to kill Two-Face. And he's like, and then what? Because then you'll go out looking for more and more. It just repeats itself in that. But, yeah, with AJ, we'll see what happens. And just heartbreaking. When he got that text and he said that same line about the knife, he figured Ree would have been like, that looks just like mine. Because a photo of a knife, it's like, well, okay, but I don't know if that was a rare knife. I mean, it had that emblem on it, but she could have been like, oh my gosh, no, I left it at work. The killer must have snagged it or something. But I knew when they went downstairs and when he's asking you, where is it, and that, I thought of when she was cooking the night before, using that knife. I'm like, oh gosh, she's going to kill again. And when... it's so messed up what happens in the end. Because it's just like, this relationship could have worked, and you're a monster. And then with her, I think, eventually she won't be able to sleep. Or maybe it is like the first time she killed, when she woke up the following morning and everything just seemed normal and fine. You wake up, good night's sleep, and maybe it was all a dream. But then, you see the blood and, the knife and that, and it's like, oh gosh, look in the tub, there are the clothes. But with the clothes, I'm surprised she didn't just toss those in the garbage, put them in a bag or something. End of season 2. Maybe we see Ree moving away. She gets away with everything somehow, or just decides to go off grid. Oh, how did I miss this? Because money would be an issue, because we don't know, is Ree's house, her dad's house, was that paid off? Were they paying a mortgage? Because, he was sick for however long, and was she supporting the place financially? Maybe she'll sell it. Maybe one of Julia's associates could oversee that. And Julia will text like, hey, sorry about everything. The 400 whatever dollars. I'm selling my place and the townhouse apartment, whatever it is. You can keep that money, something like that. But I don't know, because he figured Julia, if she is dependent on Ree's credit card, like I said earlier, Ree could call and have it canceled. Because Julia may not have access to Marcus's accounts, the money. I don't know, this is a really well done show. I love it. I have so many questions. Because Julia, wherever she goes, it's like, well, does she have cash on her? Is she going to make up a new identity? Are we going to have like a Shawshank kind of ending? You know, if they ever reunite. But, okay. Here's my theory about Detective Inspector Diana St. John. That's Marina's boss. Because when Marina's putting everything together, she's so sure that Ree did it. And yet, Diana is so quick to dismiss any involvement with Ree. Just shoots down everything so fast and so effortlessly. Now, what do we know about Ree's mom? When they interrogate her, oh, she's out of the picture. Since birth? When she was a few years old, she would have no memory of her mom. What if Diana is really Ree's mom? That's why she shoots down everything that Marina tells her. Or they're of some relation. Because Diana's character, we don't know much about her. Ken, just like Jeff, kind of a side character. So it's one of those like, oh, we don't think too much about this. But I'm like, but she just shoots down everything so quickly. So let me know what you think. When Ree is being interrogated by Diana and Marina at the end, she mentions that she learned about Marcus's townhouse apartment because she did some research investigating in that and found out about the place. It's like, okay, that's possible. But we know, like, she wouldn't have looked it up on her phone or, you know, if she had a computer in the house because there'd be a record of that. And so if it's not on there, then it's like, okay, who did you talk to about this? So I'm not sure if Marina was wise to that or be like, well, we need proof, we need evidence. And even with AJ, this is another, not really plot hole, but, you know, when she's going to, you remember she was almost going to kill him after he got the job as the reporter in that, junior reporter, I believe. When she's following him, and then, you know, she drops the knife in that, and she says, oh, there's a follow-up email or something to sign in that, I just need your email. But did he ever get that email? Was that really a thing? Could have been. Maybe she made something up. But seems like AJ would have been suspicious or, you know, told their boss about it. But again, everything I can think of in that from this series. But yeah, shout out to Leah Harvey who plays Marina. Because I thought that was going to be a very stock character, kind of boring, hard-hitting detective, but what happens to the character, the wild turn it takes, it's like they're so sure, but it's like, just like Ree, it's like nobody's, like you're hearing me, but you're not listening to me, you're not understanding. I'm sure it's this person. And what's going to happen with her character in season 2? Because just like Ree, it's like people I love to kill. And we see a little bit about her personal life in that. And, you know, you're just not good enough. So, who knows? Because I thought at the end of season 1, maybe Marina's going to tell her when she's at her house, I know you did it. And it'd be more of a, I don't know. Again, this show is so well written. I'm not sure what should happen with the character. Because with Marina, it's like maybe she'll start killing, but she seems so focused to take Ree down. For all the right reasons, of course, but I think Diana is related. I think she's Ree's mother. Gosh, so many theories in that. But yeah, we'll see what happens in season 2. And another shout out to Ella Purnell. Just steals the show. Just such a great actress in that. And I thought I'd like to see her in something like, more Dune movies than that. I think she'd be great because she'd be very serious and so captivating. Like you do a shot of her just reacting to something and you can kind of zoom in or pan and just get lost in the moment. And let's see here. I think that's it for all my notes. I imagine season 2 will be, because I think season 1 premiered last October, so probably about the same time this year, I imagine. I know Ella's been working on a Fallout series, which I'm not too familiar with. Probably got other stuff going on, but let me know in the comments what you'd like to see happen season 2. What are your theories? What's going to happen? The fate of Craig, deep dive into Jeff's life. Is Diana related to Ree? Where did Julia go? How is she going to continue on? Maybe Ree will feel bad and she'll well, I guess she can just keep using the card. I'll just open up a different account. But how is she going to pay for the house? But yeah, I love it. I give this a 10 out of 10. So check it out if you haven't. Hopefully you have, because otherwise I'm spoiling a lot. But yeah, just a great series. And that's it for now. So thanks for watching and listening. And I will see you next time on the You Got the Wrong Dude podcast. Like this video up, subscribe for more. And that's all I got.